everybody. Thank you for tuning in to another edition of On the Road to Victory. I am your host, Jimmy Smith, and I hope you're all having yourselves a great damn day because let me tell you something. I was so pumped up to do this show today. I thought, let's do it live, baby. So we're doing the top 13 matchups, but I'm going to give you all the information you need to know before we get into all of that. But excitement in the air. I know. I see it. Don't worry. You guys keep questioning me. This, that, the other thing. Look, we've broken it down every damn day of every damn week for, unfortunately, the past month and a half pretty extensively into what the issues are. The Eagles need to fix them. There's nothing I can do to force them to do it. But regardless, I'm going to support them because it's wild card, bitches. Let's go, baby. This is the playoffs. Look, we talked about it a million times. 0-0. Nothing else matters. You got to learn from your mistakes. And obviously, if you come out playing the way you did, if you allow teams to blitz you, a team that blitzes, you're going to have issues. So you can't do the same stuff. Great thing is you don't have to. So let's talk about tonight how the Eagles can go into Monday night's matchup and win this damn thing. We'll talk about the top matchups in this game and get you caught up to date with everything that is going on. But appreciate each and every one of you taking the time here. If you have any thoughts, any questions, please feel free to drop them down below. I will happily get to all of you. And I appreciate you guys hitting that like button, subscribing, all that stuff. And I've been trying to keep up with all the madness of your messages. Love to see you guys coming aboard here. Love you sickos riding with me. I love all of it, man. People getting excited here. It's the playoffs. Why not? You have no idea what's going to happen. It could be the last game. Could have 4 more games. Who knows what's going to happen? But let's ride with them until the end. And then when it is the end, well, we'll enter that special time we like to call sicko season. But let's wait. Let's, try to see what happens here. And maybe, just maybe, the football gods will look down upon us. But let's get into this bad boy here. Hope you guys are all having a great week. And yes, he sure did. A lot of other things happen in the NFL and college world today. Yo, my man Samuel, appreciate you tuning in. Let's go Birds. Appreciate you tuning in. Anton, what are the possible one and done next week? Do you think we can beat the... look, we could easily beat the Bucs. We already did it this season, and I think, we've got a lot more pieces than we did the first time we beat them, so let's talk about it here tonight. Jump right into it. Let's go, and I'll start off by showing you the playoff brackets here, just in case you want to know when the games are, what's going on here, some confusion about how this works. Look, it's always the number 1 seed here is going to play the lowest remaining, so you can see all 3 of these games. Whoever is the lowest number will play the 49ers. Then the other 2 will play each other. So if the Packers were to beat the Cowboys, they would play the 49ers. Now, if the Rams were to win, then the Cowboys and Eagles were to win, Cowboys and Eagles would play each other. So a lot of fun things could happen here this weekend and, of course, on Monday. So we'll see how it goes down. But you can see on Sunday, 4:30, and then 8 o'clock, and then we'll finish it off on Monday. And then on the AFC side, just to show you guys what's going on here, things will kick off on Saturday at 4:30 and then 8 o'clock. You have another game. Sunday at 1, you have the Bills and Steelers. But the same thing, lowest seed remaining there will play the Ravens. So you see what's going on for these playoffs. Now let's take a look at the 2 teams we are clearly the most focused on here. And we're going to take a look at how both of these teams did in the 2023 season. And, well, what they can both try to do to each other here with their strengths and weaknesses. So we know this offense as of late, don't understand it. I feel like I'm beating a dead horse. Every week we talk about, maybe add some motion, maybe some hot routes, maybe you add some different formations. And, I get a lot of slack for saying we should fix those problems instead of just saying firing and cut everyone. But it has been a very welcoming sight to see everyone repeating that stuff now. So, yeah, we want to work on those issues because, believe it or not, we're actually still playing right now. So in the offseason, we'll worry about firing and cutting everyone. Right now, let's focus on how we can win. You see, 8th in the league in rushing. I'm going to say it. Run the damn ball, please, for the love of God. And look, they're a tough run defense, but I don't give a damn. We ran over 200 yards on them last time. Swift had a heyday. We didn't use them that first game. We did in that game. So let's go, baby. Run that damn ball. You see middle of the pack passing, and look, I don't understand why they're not helping Hurts. You've heard some slander out there. Hurts can't make reads. Whatever, dude. I laugh at that stuff. Look, just let's get something going here. Open the playbook up. Let's do some of the basic things I feel we've talked about over and over again. Don't know why we're not doing it, but we got to protect Mr. Jalen Hurts here. And giving up 2.3 sacks per game. That's 11th in the league, but this team will come after you. And they blitz third most in the league. We talk about that. Todd Bowles is going to be bringing it. So you see here, look, we've been turning the ball over, shooting ourselves in the foot with penalties. It has been just horrible, man. So we're essentially beating ourselves this past month and a half. And I really can't stress enough. If you fix these issues, if you add these things, which seem to be so simple each week when I explain it, that's why I'm confident. But I don't know why they're not. So at the same time, we talk about a double-edged sword. It's a good thing that it's easy, but it's also kind of scary that, they haven't. So look, I'm just praying for a miracle here and believing in my team. And, you've got the players, you've got coaches that have proven they can do it. Let's go do it, man. Defensive side of the ball, that's a different story. Now, thank God we're getting Slay back. Cunningham's been back. We lost Sidney Brown, but next man up, McCollum, we talked about. So we'll get into all that stuff, but you see the defense has struggled. 30th in points, 26th in total yardage, 10th against the run, but as of late, since the bye, we're the worst against the run. Passing yards, 31st. Yikes. Sacks, tied for 19th. Turnovers, tied for 23rd. So talk about it. Not getting turnovers, not making big plays, those negative plays we need to see. So this defense better come alive. So I'm hoping maybe big play Slay coming back. That'll do a little something special for us. And then we talked about that big Dom energy. Maybe that could do something on the sidelines. But we talk about the Buccaneers. We know Todd Bowles, a defensive mind, but he's got Canales there on offense with them. 20th in points, 23rd in total yardage, 32nd in rushing. We talk about taking away Rachaad White. Now, he can get you on the ground or in the air, so you got to watch out for him. We'll talk about him in a second. But passing, 17th in the league. Baker Mayfield, over 4,000 yards this season. Tied for 12th in sacks there, and not turning the ball over too much there. So that is a key for success there. So not too many crazy stats, but winning games by protecting the ball, holding on to it, not doing stupid stuff like the Eagles have done. Now, the defense, 7th in points allowed, 23rd in yardage. Now, this is where you take these things, and you always take them with a grain of salt, but you look here, 5th against the run. They're 29th against the pass. And that is something, teams have to throw a lot of the time because they can't run. Talked about it earlier. The Eagles ran for over 200 yards on them. So we over double what they allow this season. Hey, look, I don't care what stats say. You go run that damn thing right down their throat. They're going to be sent in the house. Tied for 7th, 2.8 sacks per game. They get turnovers, tied for 12th there. So we got to protect Jalen Hurts. And again, I don't know. I love to see everybody saying it now, but yeah, give him some hot routes. Open the playbook up. Stop running just the damn shotgun RPO. Oh, and at first, that's kind of scary, when you think about that. But yeah, teams have seen this a million times over, and you kind of got to continue adding to that. That's kind of just part of the game. I don't understand what we're doing there, but all right. But let's take a look at what both of these teams look like, and then let's jump right into these top matchups here. So you could see 8 on offense, 8 on defense. Tristan McCollum going to be one of those elevations, I do believe, here if he's not signed to the active roster. But we'll see. I'll keep you up to date. That will come out Monday because the game is on Monday. That's just the way it works. So I'll let you know about that. The injury report will come out tomorrow, so that'll tell us a little more there. Now, I've already put Sidney Brown on IR. Hasn't happened yet, but he is done for the season. But you can see on the left the offensive guys and then the defense there on the right. These guys will not be on the depth chart you're about to see. Color-coded there, so anyone green new to the team this season. Now, on offense, you can see everybody, I'm really hoping it's good to go here. We know AJ, Devontae had some things going on, obviously, and, Jurgens getting his eye poked there. Come on, man. So got to hope everybody's healthy for here. But tomorrow we'll talk about all of that when the initial injury report comes out. On the defense, Slay said on his podcast he will be back. So great news there. We don't know about Reed Blankenship. We already know Sidney Brown's out for the season. So, oh, Lord. But look, next man up, whatever may happen. And you've got a guy like, Mekhi Garner you saw on the practice squad. So maybe he gets elevated too, just in case you need some depth there. A guy that can play corner and safety. And then the special teams unit for the Eagles. We will talk about these players coming up here, but just want to have everything covered for you so you know what both teams look like. Now on to the Buccaneers. You can see their practice squad, and they've got 9 on offense, 7 on defense. And if you watch yesterday's show Behind Enemy Lines, I got to know everything about the Buccaneers. You'll see one change here. They did release Vi Jones, the linebacker, off the practice squad and added defensive tackle Deadrin Sanat. Now, on to their reserves. Only a few players here. Russell Gage and Ryan Jensen on offense, and then Mike Green is actually designated to return, so he could be back here for them. We'll check out that injury report tomorrow. But anybody in orange here is new to the team for the Buccaneers. And Baker Mayfield having a pretty damn good year. And look, we can't have him out here looking like Joe F in Montana. So we're going to talk about that here shortly. But you can see added a couple of rookies who have been getting some starting time in Palmer and Malk as well. So we've got some playmakers we know about and we'll discuss here in a second. But here's the defense for you. You can see in orange the players they have added this season. And Diaby taking over as a starter. Cansey, Isian, some good draft picks and an undrafted kid there. So, yeah, you see the new pieces. And then here is the special teams for the Buccaneers. So now you have seen the stats, the depth chart. You know what these teams look like, so you can decide for yourself what these top matchups are going to be. But I'm going to go through my top 13, and I would love to hear your thoughts as we go through this. But appreciate you all tuning in here. Yo, appreciate you, my man. And let's go. That's all I need to hear, my friend. Ride or die. Let's go. And look, man, I don't care whatever happens in any other game. This team just needs to handle business. Remember who they are. Dig deep. Come out here and beat some ass. That's what I'm all about here. And this team, I think people forget, they get caught up by the media, week to week kind of league, and it's just week to week kind of thoughts where they don't remember how good this team was at points. And we beat some of the best teams in the league. And sometimes we look sloppy in certain games, but in the second half, we're able to adjust and allow any points and doing really great things. And running the ball is something I talk about all the time. We run the ball, but it's about when, how. So that's driving me insane, but we do run it. It's just we need to do it better. So as days get closer, we're going to give you more hype. That's what I like to hear, Jose. That's all I want to hear. And look, man, I could sit here and be whiny like all the other fans and content creators and why, dude? Who knows? It could be. This could be the last game, but I'm going to enjoy it. I'm going to talk about the things, and that's the problem. They don't know the things that they can fix until they finally watch my show, and now they're all finally repeating it. It's like, yes, this is why we're not firing and cutting everyone. Oh, how he's failing. He's not firing and cutting. No, man, we can work on these things. So that's what we try to do here, and I appreciate you guys that enjoy that kind of stuff. Go Birds! Appreciate you tuning in. But let's jump into these top 13 matchups, baby. Wild card, bitches. Let's get this thing going. And if you're wondering why I just called you that, it's because I keep throwing this up if you missed it. But look, man, I am pure excitement here, and I'm ready to talk about these matchups. So I'd love to hear what you have to say as we go through it. But let's jump into things in no specific order necessarily. I kind of talk about it as we go through. You'll see. But special teams, we'll get to the defense. Then we'll get into the offense here. Let's take a look. Special teams. Britton Covey, baby. And look, they've got themselves a return specialist on the other side in Devin Tompkins. And nothing too crazy there from Devin, but he is somebody, you got to watch out for. He's got the ability to do both. So that just kind of tells you, the kind of ability he has. He averages 20.4 yards per kickoff return and 9.4 yards per punt return. But Covey, my man, he's second in the league in average, number one in total yardage. So, you heard it. A lot of people calling for his head all season. So that's what I talk about. People watching things in a vacuum. You got to take the whole season. And Britton Covey, man, I don't think he should go anywhere. I still think he's one of the best punt returners in the league. So I really would love to see him get his first career touchdown in the postseason here. A big play to really maybe give us a spark. Not necessarily that we needed at that time, but it would be beautiful to see him get something done. So can someone from the special teams department step it up for their team? Now, let's get into number 12 here. We're starting off with the defense, and we're going hot and going heavy right off the bat, baby. And Tristan Wirfs and Gadecki over there, look, these guys pretty good. And Wirfs, he's really good. And I think that Reddick, Sweat, Graham Smith, I don't understand why we can't get sacks. And there's times you get pressure, but you're not getting to the court, and that's really hindering what this entire defense pretty much is predicated off of. So you kind of need to get that pressure. We really could use some, different play calling, get on the same page. I saw we were trying to use more odd fronts last week. Okay, but when you're doing that, maybe not drop Reddick and Sweat into coverage here. Maybe we could try to get to the quarterback. And I understand you want to disguise thing and do things like that at times, but the way they're doing stuff, I'm just not a fan. And I would really like this team to come out here and actually, get a few sacks for once, because we've talked about it. We played some of these. But I don't care. Again, stats don't matter to me. I don't want to hear about it. I really just want to see this team start coming out here. I'm stuttering now because I'm so pissed off. They really need to come out here and, stake their claim as the top team in the NFC. We still hold that crown. Come on, man. Like, it's kind of just embarrassing out here, and I'm really getting tired of it. So, last time we played them, Tuipulotu had a sack. You had Cox and Carter in on a sack. I need more than that. I need to see these edge rushers getting some. Let's effing go. But those interior guys we talked about, they've got a tough task. Mal, Kainsey, and Stinney in there. But look, Davis, Carter, Cox, well, you've been hearing the slander. You've been hearing all these people not knowing what certain positions people play, what their roles are. That's fine. I don't care if they don't understand it. What they're going to understand is the Eagles are about to dominate this offensive line. And look, they are decent, but I really think that these young guys and these other guys really get these younger guys more reps. And I think that's what we've been doing, playing it safe here with the reps to an extent, but you don't want to overdo it. Some of these guys aren't used to playing that full season, so I get it, but it's time to unleash here, and gonna love this. Cody Malk, talked about him before the draft. Going to really look forward to seeing him versus Davis, Carter, and these guys. So really looking forward to that matchup. Now at number 10, obviously the safeties, they have very large roles in this defense, but, for matchup purposes, we just talk about it like this. But going to have to help with the tight end, watch the middle of the field. Obviously, teams can attack the Eagles there, but linebackers are coming back, so that's great. Hopefully that play steps it up there from the linebacking core. But, Blankenship, Byard, McCollum here, and we don't even know what's going on with Blankenship. We'll see. Hopefully he's ready to go. We know Sidney Brown's out, but McCollum's going to get elevated. Maybe they have Gardner there. But whatever they do, they got to help here deep with the receivers. They got to help with the tight ends, the running backs. They have a very full slate here. And look, man, it's very unfortunate. You guys know how much I wanted Sidney Brown in this draft. So losing him, not a fan of it. But next man up. And Cade Otton, he's having a decent season, but I'm not, overly afraid of Cade Otton here. I think, that first game, he really didn't do, too much of anything. I think one catch, 16 yards. So, yeah. But they need to help in a lot more than just the tight end. So safeties, step it up. But those linebackers we talked about, going to have to help with the tight ends, the running backs, everybody here. So watching out for the crossers, the receivers, all that stuff. Come on. So Cunningham, Morrow, Leonard here, and that's a nice trio here. If these guys are healthy, veteran players, they've had their times where you're like, son of a bitch. But if you can just play the way you were at times this season, my God, if we can just play to 100% here, man. That's all I'm asking. And Rachaad White, we talked about it. Yeah, they might not, be able to run the ball too much there if you're looking at the stats. And, he only had 14 carries for 38 yards against us last time, 2.7 yards per carry. He had 3 catches for 24 yards. So we did really well, containing this young man. But we talked about this yesterday. I really think that you got to watch out for him. And, he's third on the team in receiving yards. He's got 8.6 yards per catch, 3 touchdowns there. But rushing the ball, 900. He was 10 yards away from 1,000-yard season, 3.6 yards per carry, and 6 touchdowns. So you got to watch out for this running back. And as I mentioned, in the air as well. Now, in the air, what you really got to watch out for here, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, and Trey Palmer. And they've got David Moore there. They've got Raheem Jarrett off of IR. So some other pieces. But look, we've got Slay back. And I know a lot of people wanted to get rid of him, and that's what we talk about, just laughing when everybody wants each week. It's, somebody's got to get fired or cut. But, I like having, a good corner here. And with Bradbury's struggles, I really couldn't wait to get Slay back because I would like to see Ringo and maybe even a little more Ricks. Now, Ringo more so. So Slay, Ringo, Maddox would be my, 3 corners. But if you want to use some Ricks, maybe a little Roby in there. I don't know what they're going to do. Roby might be inactive again. But look, we have struggled against lesser wide receiving core. So, let's shut these guys down. And we all know who Mike Evans is. And, that first game, he had 5 catches, 60 yards, and a touchdown. That's 12 yards per catch, but nothing, too crazy. 3 catches, 32 yards for Chris Godwin, 10.7 yards per catch. So we really did well against their passing attack in Baker Mayfield. So, look, I understand how people feel, but we've seen it, man. With the Dolphins, you've seen it in the second half of games like the Chiefs, the Bills. We can shut these guys down. We can shut other teams down. So, we need to, go full bore here, baby. Let's go. Now at number 7, you can see here, I got Baker Mayfield, as I just mentioned, and, over 4,000 yards this season. But when we played him, he only had 146 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. And I cannot have him out here looking like Joe effing Montana. So this defense, we talked about it, not getting turnovers, not getting sacks, struggling against the pass, as of late, struggling against the run. So are you going to do something? Make it easier for yourself. Make them one-dimensional. Put the ball in the Baker Mayfield's hands. And look, kid's got toughness. He's got heart. He's going to try to do all he can to win the game. And you got to watch him using his legs too. So, hey, man, don't sleep on Baker Mayfield. But this Eagles defense, and speaking of somebody doing something, Josh Sweat, man, let's get things going here, man. It had a great start to the season and then not seeing much. I would really, and I don't want to just single him out, but there he is. So kind of just thought about it. Let's go, man. Let's get things going with this pass rush, as I mentioned earlier. But I do not want to see Baker Mayfield out here looking like effing Joe Montana. Please, for the love of God. I'm serious, dude, because we've seen it with Tyrod Taylor. We've seen it with Kyler Murray. Like, oh, my God. Give me a break, dude. So don't want to see it. But that was special teams and defense. We're going to get into the offense. But let me check out your comments real quick. But let me know how you're feeling about those Eagles defensive matchups and how you feel about the Buccaneers offense. Think we'll get those sacks in the past season? Hey, I'm all about those sacks. Let's go. Sacks on sacks on sacks on sacks. And all about that domination. And a win is a win at this point. We need to get people. And sorry you quit, Bobby. We'll be here if you come back. I'm afraid of blank chip. No doubt I will be too. Could knock some people out. But we definitely want to get that pass rush going for sure. So did we discuss the Panthers requesting Brian Johnson to be? No, these are the top matchups. But that was posted earlier. Anyways, let's jump into this top 6 here with this offense. I'll be discussing everything here. So you have any thoughts, questions, feel free to get them in here. But at number 6, you can see Lane Johnson and Jordan Mailata. Clearly, very important here that we protect Jalen Hurts. And you've got Shaq Barrett, Yaya Diaby, Anthony Nelson, Tryon Shayink is there. So look, the crazy part is their leading sack getter that we talked about yesterday is Yaya Diaby with 7.5 sacks. So nobody with double-digit sacks, but these guys, are, in the top. I think it was tied for 7th with sacks there. So this is a team that can get to the quarterback in a plethora of ways. So we're going to have to step it up all over the place. And man, we have really struggled with the blitz, and whether that's on Sirianni, Brian Johnson, you want to put it on Jalen Hurts, I think the offensive line could get some credit there too. So everybody's got to get on the same page and be able to decide what the issues are and how teams are attacking us and how we can fix these things pre-snap, man. It doesn't even have to be post-snap. Like, figure these things out. You're an NFL team that was just in the Super Bowl. Come on, man. Let's go. Now, staying, here on the line, let's talk about the interior guys. And obviously, they've got a beast of a man in Vita Vea there in the middle. You've got Kalijah Cansey, Logan Hall. But, dude, we've got some studs, too. Dickerson, Kelsey. We'll see if Juergens has to wear a pirate patch. I don't know. Hopefully, he's all right. But they've got a tough task here. And we talked about it. Run the effing ball. That's how you make things easier on Jalen Hurts. So we're going to hope we run the right situation, not just running it on 3rd and 20. So I'm going to hope for that. I'm going to hope we pound it. And I talked about it. Look, I don't care if they're good against the run. We ran for over 200 yards on these mother effers last time. So do not care what stats say. You run that damn thing right down their throat. Swift had over 130 yards, I mentioned earlier. Gainwell, only had like 43 yards, but that was just adding on 28 yards for Hurts there. So, dude, let's go, baby. I'm all about seeing this team go out here and doing some special things, and it's going to depend on that offensive line. So they're one of the best. I don't understand all of these struggles, why they continue to happen and don't fix the things that, I feel like are pretty easy when we talk about them every day. But I don't know why they haven't changed. I don't have that answer for you, but I can try to tell you how they should or could. We'll just hope for the rest. But that line can do some things and get this offense going. Maybe we could attack the middle of the field. Maybe we could use our tight ends. And we've talked about it. You've heard me since the trade deadline asking for a tight end too that would step up here because Stoll, Calcaterra. Stoll, your H-back kind of guy that I wouldn't call him an inline blocking guy, but he can block. He's got smooth hands. We talk about, or the soft hands that I talk about. And you talk about Calcaterra. That's your F-type guy. That's your receiving tight end. And I think, I'd love to see more from him. The other week, we finally saw him get a couple catches after, I made that one of my points of emphasis. So maybe I'll make it an emphasis here again. With the kind of playmakers you have, there's no reason that these other guys shouldn't be making plays. So when you have those blitzes and, people are, whether they press them or what they're doing, and you think, oh man, I can't get it to AJ or Devontae or Dallas. Guess what? You could get it to a Stoll, a Calcaterra, or maybe you could get it to, one of those back end wide receivers here. So I think for me, keep both of these in mind. But let me go back here just for a sec, because let me tell you how ridiculous Pro Bowl voting is. We talked about Antoine Winfield yesterday. This dude is an effing stud. So we're going to do our best, but they've got some good safeties here in Winfield, Ryan Neal, D. Delaney there. But Antoine Winfield, second on his team in tackles with 122 total. He had 6 tackles for a loss, 12 passes deflected, 3 interceptions, 6 forced fumbles, and 4 fumbles recovered. Like, oh my God. And that guy doesn't get into the Pro Bowl. That's pretty wild to me, man. I'm not going to lie to you. But this is going to be a great matchup. And they're going to do, obviously, just like with anything else, they're going to help out with the receivers and the running backs and everything. But for matchup purposes, we talk about this, and going to be a great matchup to see if we can get Goddard going here and if those other guys can get things going too. But man, Dallas Goedert, would love to see a big day from him. And, we talked about since he's been back, he's had flashes here, but I really would love to see a game where we really get things going. And last time we played them, he had 5 catches, 41 yards. So not too much, but they've got some damn good linebackers there too, not just safeties. And we'll see them in a second here. But let's talk about, this wide receiving core we have, obviously one of the best duos in the game, AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, but these other guys, Alameda, Julio, and Quez, yeah, they still use him. Look, please, for the love of God, whoever's in there, and I would love to tell you it's going to be Alameda or Julio, but we'll see. Just make some plays here, man. Maybe some crossing routes. Maybe just instead of a quick screen here when, you got blitzed, maybe you do some different things. I don't know, man. I think that there are so many things we've talked about, quick outs, where you could just not do the same thing. And it just feels like I'm beating a dead horse, and it makes me want to jump out of this window. But, they might be giving up a lot of yards, but we talk about the turnovers they get. They've got some talented guys in the secondary, not just their safeties, but Carlton Davis, Jamel Dean, and then Izzy and the undrafted kid. They've got talent. And don't forget, Zion McCollum is there as well as a depth piece for corner safety. He can, just like his brother, Tristan McCollum, the twin. And you guys remember, we talked about them in the pre-draft process. If you guys are sickos like me and you like, all that draft stuff, the cap stuff, you want to know how everything works with the cap and all that, tune in, man. I'm a true sicko in the offseason. But we talked about those young men and love to see them both in the NFL, but now going against each other in the wild card round. So pretty cool there. But come on, man, let's get these effing receivers going. AJ went off last time we played him, 9 catches, 131 yards. Let's get back to that, baby. And Alameda actually had that really nice catch. He had 2 for 58 yards, but he had that touchdown there. Devontae only had 4 for 28, but hey, maybe he wants to get things going. Whatever needs to happen here, I am all about it. But I think, as much as I love passing the ball, the one thing I really want to talk about is running the damn ball, please. And I know you've heard me mention it throughout the show, and pretty much every day we talk here, but get DeAndre Swift the ball and let's dominate, man. Let's go out here and dictate how this game goes. And DeAndre Swift had 16 carries for 130 yards. That's 8.1 yards per carry. Wow. And, I mentioned Gainwell only had those 43 yards, but just keep handing it to DeAndre. I understand why they use Gainwell. I know people get mad, but he's really good at pass blocking. So I understand why they use him, and he's going to get some carries when he's on the field sometimes. So it happens, but run that damn thing right down their effing throats. And you got to watch out, though. I mentioned those linebackers, and my Lord, Levante David, Devin White, and a little bit older now, but still one of the best duos in the game. And these dudes, they fly around. They're great against the run. They can cover. So, look, as much as, you want to give the ball to Swift on the ground, if you want to throw it to him too, great. But got to watch out for these linebackers. This is a really talented defense with a lot of athleticism, and they will send the blitz, do a lot of things. So these running backs are going to have to take them on. And my Lord, may you help us here. But going to be great to watch that matchup. Love to see Swift go out here and have another 100-plus yard game. That would be fantastic. Now at number 1, it is QB1 going up against this Buccaneers defense that we're talking about here. And yeah, they get sacks, they get turnovers, they blitz the 3rd most in the NFL. Fantastic. Don't care. Jalen Hurts. Now, as much slander as I've been seeing about the young man and all the just narratives people have been waiting to, throw out there. Oh, first sign of anything bad happening, it's, oh, he's a bust. Can't read defenses. Doesn't know hot routes. Okay, babe. But last time we played them, 277 yards, a touchdown. He did have a couple picks in that game, but he ran for 10, 28 yards, and a touchdown there as well. So 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. This defense did do some things to him. So, again, we talk about, Jalen Hurts just getting back to being Jalen Hurts. And, Devin White had one of those damn interceptions that last game, as you see him pictured there. He had that safety, Delaney, with one of them. But Jalen Hurts, man, I am still a pretty firm believer. You guys remember I was the only content creator that supported him when everybody wanted to trade him. So I ain't jumping ship anytime soon, dude. Well, I'm never going to. But my point is, this kid, there are going to be times where teams struggle. And when you can point at the offensive, coordinator, you can point at the head coach, you can point at the offensive line, you can point at so many things. And yet, Jalen Hurts is not free of blame here to say that he has not made issues. But when everything around you is on fire, it's kind of hard to play like everyone expects. Like last year, when your defense isn't, number one against the pass. Everybody hated being number one against the pass and breaking sack records and being the top team with turnovers. They wanted to get rid of Gannon as soon as they could. Oh, nobody wants a good defense. We want to like Wink Martindale where we're last in points given up and we give up the most yards, but we get sacks. Like, I don't want that. Like, I want to win, man. I don't want to be the Giants. I want to be the effing Eagles, baby. So can we get back to being the Philadelphia Eagles? And Jalen Hurts, man, don't care what they're saying about you. I believe in you, and I know what kind of person you are. I know what kind of leader you are. And I'm expecting this week, not just Kelsey and Lane to get fired up. Look, this could be our last game, and Cox and all those guys. I really want, and I don't think it's Lane's last game, but I'm just saying some of these guys that you don't know how many times you even make it to the playoffs. So that's why I'm trying to enjoy this ride. Who knows? Dude, I grew up, and trust me, there were plenty of times I didn't even, it was a joy just to make the playoffs. So I think we've gotten a little spoiled, and a lot of people went into this, and I went into this with high expectations, but, a lot of people from the media were telling us this team couldn't, oh, it's a Super Bowl curse. You can't be good the next year. They won't, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, look, man, we won 11 games. I understand that this past month sucked ass, a month and a half. It was horrible, but you need to get back to who you were. Somebody needs to get pissed off here. And that's, again, that double-sided sword we're talking about, where it's like double-edged sword where you're, hey, yeah, it's simple, but why haven't you simply just done it? And I do understand at the same time, hey, maybe you're saving a little energy. I'm hoping they don't play like that, but maybe you kind of are subconsciously, because the playoffs are coming and they know what it takes. And maybe everybody's going to be, just healthy enough. Maybe they're going to be fired up and they'll figure things out just enough to get things going just a little more each week. And by the time they make it to the Super Bowl, hey, everything's good to go. So I am all about it, ladies and gentlemen, all about it. But there we go. That's all the information, but love to hear your questions, your thoughts, whatever you guys got on your mind. But, we've got James Bond in here, sneaking in. Love it. Appreciate you tuning in. Hope you're having a great time at work, and go Birds. Let me know how you're feeling about this game. But, I posted about Brian Johnson earlier there, Duck, and this is what we talk about. You can't follow the media. When they say, everybody's, oh, we got to fire everyone, cut everyone. You remember when they said about Steichen and Gannon, and well, better yet, they were saying it about Sirianni and Howie and Trade Hurts before we went to the Super Bowl last year. So you got to understand, these people don't have a real strong grasp of how football works. And when you start seeing stuff like this, those fans get so confused as to like, why would Brian Johnson? And it's like, well, dude, he's actually really good. He's a bright young mind, and he's got some growing to do as a young coach. His first year ever as an offensive coordinator. Remember when everyone wanted to fire Steichen, and it's like, well, let's just kind of be patient and see if he can implement some things, work some things out. And, now everybody wants Steichen back, and it's like, that's what I was talking about then. So it's crazy, man. But happy for him, and we'll see if he gets the job. But I would feel bad if he had to go to the Panthers. But yo, William, my man, appreciate you tuning in. Hope you're having a great day. I don't think he'll get the start, but I think he will play because Bradbury's just been ass. So as I've, was saying in the video, I think that, as mentioned by Patricia, you'll see Ringo, you'll see Ricks, but you need to see Ringo over Bradbury when it comes to the snap count. So that's where I would be at, and I think that's what they will do, but I think you'll see all of them a little bit. I would use Bradbury more in that like dimebacker role I talk about all the time. I think the blitz can be lessened with the shorter slant cross. Yeah, man, that's what I was just saying, man. You Got to do the things I talk about every day, every week here. And I feel like I'm beating a dead horse, but I made a post earlier. Like, it's so awesome. The media and fans are finally catching up to that. Because it's like, you remember when I said it, it gets so boring waiting. Because it's like, oh, F you, man, you got to fire and cut everyone. It's like, I'm just trying to tell you what the actual problems are. And then it's like, they're repeating it. It's like, they're telling me. And I'm like, yeah, no, that's literally what I've been saying to you for the last month and a half. It's crazy. And that's another thing. I told you guys, people think they play Madden. I saw that one guy who was like, we got to hire professional Madden players. And it's like, I can't even believe that people think Madden is like the NFL. Like, it's crazy out there, man. But hey, you guys see what I deal with. All about it, China. Hand that ball off to that young man and let him ride. And look at Liz getting that money and stopping in here. We love to see it. And matter of fact, speaking of seasons, I'm working on a new shirt. But if you guys didn't see it, I made my first T-shirt design I was talking about the other week with getting Dom DeSandro back on the sidelines. That big Dom energy, baby. But someone just made the first purchase earlier today. I didn't get it out till like 11:30 last night, but somebody bought it today, and they bought 2 of them. And I just want to tell you, I love you with all of my heart. It doesn't tell me who bought them, so I was just like, whoa, pretty cool. I don't really make much off of it, but I thought a cool way for you guys that like all the sayings and want the apparel. I thought it was a way that we could start doing stuff like that. So hope you like it. But go to the site, I posted it, but you can't see it. Sorry. I wish I would have uploaded it here. I wasn't thinking, but big Dom energy, baby. We need it back. We need all we can get. Let's effing go. But a big thank you to whoever that was. I love you guys. Appreciate your support. Can't thank you enough. And look, man, they've been down in from day one. And look, all those Eagles content creators that said trade him for Jimmy G, Kirk Cousins, they're all saying fire everyone. Look, we'll worry about that stuff when it's time. And they're waiting for me to make my show so they know who we're drafting, how the cap works. Look, dog, we'll get to it when it's time, but it ain't time yet. So jump back on board because you will after we win. Let's ride this thing out, see where it goes, and then we'll get to sicko season. But that's the other shirt I'm working on for you sickos out there that ride with me in the offseason. And that's the weirdest part. Like, you get these fans that they watch every week, and all they ask for is the offseason. Oh, yeah, we're going to draft here, this guy, fire this. It's like, why don't we talk about that in the offseason? Because I'm the only person out here that actually talks about that stuff and gets it right. So I'll talk about it then. Why not we talk about what's actually happening? And then people get mad, and then the offseason comes, they're like, oh, don't watch this shit. It's your offseason. It's like, well, this is the time you could learn how things work and not have to sound like an ass bag every single year. But to each their own. And they'll all be back. It's cool, man. I don't mind. Go Birds. And that's right, my man. You heard me. 0-0. So look, and Big Dom in the chat. We appreciate China. I appreciate you dealing with some of these crazies. And the rest of you. Look, they're going wild. Nothing we can do about it, man. And we have these fans, that came on board when we won the Super Bowl. You have to understand, and a lot of people weren't built for this fan base. We're diehards, baby. We don't talk about firing and cutting everyone every week. We talk about who needs to get punched in the face, who needs to get their shit together because we're pissed off. Now, if a player is someone like Derek Barnett and needs to go, that's why we talk about it. And then he goes, right? Oh, weird. The one player I did talk about, well, we talk about things that are realistic. And I know that bothers people, but in the age of misinformation, somebody's got to bring the facts. So for you sickos that enjoy that stuff, I cannot thank you enough. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you for hitting that like button, subscribing, all of those things, buying my apparel now. I can't even believe we've got On the Road to Victory apparel. Oh, yeah. Moving up in the world. I tried so many times to work with people and just kept getting shit bagged. So we're going to see how it works with this. I bought 1 million shirts from this company. So I was like, screw it. Why don't I join them? And got to go. We're riding. Let's effing ride, baby. So I love each and every one of you. I hope you're having a great week. Tomorrow, I will be back with the initial injury report of the week for both teams. So you'll know who's banged up on both these sides, who didn't practice, who's limited, all that stuff. Then on Friday, of course, Fan Friday, I'm going to make that post tonight so you guys all get your questions in. I think I'm going to open it to the public. So look out for that. All of you guys, maybe your question will be featured on the show. So I'll get that out there. Fan Friday, and then Saturday, you will get the game status report. Obviously, because the game's on Monday, it moves back a day, so no Friday. On Saturday, you will know who's out, who is questionable, all that stuff. And then Sunday, I'm giving you Sicko Sunday. So tried to see about a guest. We'll see if they come on, what happens. If not, you're just going to have to deal with me getting pumped up before game day. Now, If you need anything in between that, I think tomorrow we could be back talking about some roster moves too. So Tristan McCollum could be on the active roster, Sidney Brown placed on IR, stuff like that. So I'll see you then live if that goes down. But if you need me beforehand, you can always reach out at any of these platforms. If you're watching this later, you have anything on your mind, feel free to leave it down below. Always down to talk some birds with you. And I love to hear from you sickos getting fired up. That's what this is all about because, again, who knows how many weeks are left? So let's enjoy it. We all know how, sicko season's fun. Love the draft and the cap and the free agency. Oh, yeah. But it's miserable. I'm not going to lie. I hate doing the countdowns. I hate effing waiting that long for football. So as much as people are rooting against the birds and they're wearing our colors, take that shit off if you're rooting against us. Diehards only. Let's ride. Enjoy the rest of your night. But until next time, I'm Jimmy Smith, and this is On the Road to Victory. You all have yourselves a great rest of your evening. Stay safe out there. And as always, say it with me now. Go Birds!